Welcome to this week's Talking Codswallop. I am Gemma.
I'm James.
Blimey.
Blimey O'Reilly.
Yeah, 2 recordings in one go. Or, that's not right. 2 recordings back to back. That's what I'm trying to say.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah.
I understood what you meant. I'm sure the tadpoles would understand too.
No, to be honest, I didn't understand what I was trying to say, so I'm sure they won't. But, blimey, it's James Stafford.
It is James Stafford. How are we doing, Gemma?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. I've got plenty of Codswallop up my sleeve, But, not too bad.
I expect nothing less.
Yeah, you do, and you should. Or you shouldn't, should I say. Do you know what? I've been working today, guys, and it's been a bit of a crazy one, so I think my brain might be a little bit running on empty, so if I am blabbering on, I do apologise. But, yeah, let's get that out straight away out of the, out in the field or whatever. But, yeah.
Wow, your ideas of describing these things are very out there and interesting. I like it.
Yeah, no,
out in the field.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's because, James, I couldn't think what the word I was trying to say was, so field was good enough.
Just get it out there. That's what you meant.
Yes.
Tadpoles, that's what you meant.
Yeah, it might be a gas leak episode. You never know. So, James, how have you been?
Absolutely fine. I mean, brilliant. I've been
Really?
dandy. It's no issues here at all.
No way. I don't know if anyone heard by the tone that, there may be something that's happened to James, but nothing dramatically serious. But, still, nonetheless, it wasn't very nice.
It was, basically, it was my birthday. About a week and a bit ago. And I just, as I was going to go back to my house, I wanted to pop in and see my uncle and aunt because it was my uncle's birthday on the day after mine. Mm-hmm. So I went to see them. I also thanked them for my gifts and then headed on my way home. And that was great. It was really nice to see them. We went to see each other in person for a while. Lovely catch up. Anyway, about, 2 days later, 3 days later, I was feeling a bit kind of rough, but I just thought, this is like a cold or something. So I was feeling a bit, dizzy and lightheaded and whatnot. But I've been at the gym and I was incredibly hot, more than normal. I thought, God, I'm sweating a lot. This is rather unusual. Anyway, the very evening, I was sat in my house and I suddenly thought, God, I'm getting a banging headache here. I was feeling more and more kind of bad with my chest, and I couldn't really see very well when I was trying to do some proofreading. So I thought, this isn't a good sign. And it was only a suggestion from one of my friends who went, do you think you might have COVID? And I thought, this is very unlikely. But I said, it feels like I'm getting flu. Anyway, so I took various, medical things, got in bed, and I was really wrapped up in bed because I was going hot and cold, but woke up sweating just sweating and sweating.
Buggery, as I'd say. Yeah.
Sweating to buggery, or as the weird comment I sometimes hear, sweating cobs.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the next, in the morning, I thought I'll just give myself a COVID test. Because I had stuff I was going out to do anyway, but I thought, just give myself a COVID test. I've never seen 2 lines appear.
Yes. It appears pretty quick, doesn't it? Yeah.
It was like 2 seconds. I just looked and went, oh dear.
That's me out for 5 days or whatever. But yeah. So I'm sorry to hear that you've had COVID. I mean, obviously I knew. I can't remember if I was potentially the friend who said you might want to do a test, but that...
You are one of the people who suggested it. But what I did is I text around everybody I've been around. So I've been around a couple of the family members and a few other people, and I was saying, look, I've got COVID. And it became apparent, because I'm thinking, who the hell could I've got it off? Because I've been out for dinner with people and I'm making sure they're all okay. And it turns out, it was my uncle who I got the knowledge of who I got it off, being my poor uncle and aunt, because they both had it. When I said, just make sure you're okay, my uncle was very apologetic and said, I think I'm the cause of your woe. And it turns out my aunt, his wife, had it, not realised she had it, But on the very evening I'd seen him, he'd started getting really unwell. And obviously that's how I got it. But, it happens. It's one of these things. The weirdest thing is I've been out for dinner with a couple of my friends, and we'd actually been discussing COVID and the fact that people have this impression it's vanished and gone away.
Yes.
When the reality is, and we were saying at the meal, the reality is it's mutated, it's changed, it's still in the ether, as they say. So yeah, so I've been a bit rough, but nowhere near as bad as I could be. So I'm very grateful of that.
Yeah, which is good. And I'd say I feel a bit bad now because last episode where we recorded together, I was like, oh boo-hoo, I'm ill, and now it turns out that James has had COVID. But as a true friend, I mean, I did a sympathetic thing, and then I just picked on him. What was it?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think
pretty much to be normal.
Yes, yeah. Well, I don't like it to be anything but normal. And Andy told you to stop licking windows, so
which is something he taught me. So I'm surprised he's telling me to stop.
I know. Well, maybe he's learnt the error of his ways, but he forgot to actually tell you that. Who knows? But but he's definitely a window licker himself. Yes, I agree.
It's yes, one of those things. But more importantly, how are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. Over the worst of whatever it was that I had, so who knows, that could have been COVID too. It's going all right, thank you. I managed to meet up with a couple of friends on Saturday. The Saturday just gone, so that's like 3 weeks ago for salted apples. But anyway, and that was really nice. I drove up to Poole to see them because they both live up there. And but it did kind of knock me for six. So as lovely as it was to see them, I then had, when I came home, I was like literally in bed, like having a little snooze afterwards, But it's sometimes I prefer to be tired or whatever. Or it is tired, but it's sort of like the fatigue sort of thing. But I prefer it if I've actually done something fun rather than I'm feeling all tired just because I woke up, kind of thing. So, but that was really nice. It was nice to see them. We went to it's like a country park, basically. So it's got like this big country house there. Excuse me. It's got a big country house there, and it's got like gardens that you can walk around, but also they've got like a nice little restaurant there as well, which is like all dog friendly and stuff. I didn't take Socks with me because it's a 40-minute drive and he wouldn't probably be able to do that drive. But if he could, it would have been fun to have taken him as well. So we just sort of sat in the sun, and luckily I was sat with the sun on my left-hand side because where I've been driving, driving in the car and it's been sunny, I've got a very nice brownish, let's say brown for me, which is rich tea biscuit, arm on my right-hand side. But on the left-hand side, you the noticeable difference that, it's very white in comparison. So, I'm walking around all different shades of white at the moment. So,
big round of applause for Gemma. She now has what they call trucker's arm.
Yes, I do. I have a trucker's arm. So, but it was, like I said, it was quite nice that we were sat outside. And because the sun was on my left-hand side, I sort of slightly topped it up so it doesn't look quite as bizarre, especially as when I'm driving as well. I give the sun's on my face as well if I've got the window right down or whatever. You can see sometimes that my face is like half a different colour.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And of course, as I wear glasses, my nose instantly goes red, But there we go. That's the joys of being a specky four eyes.
Just say you and the sun are not the closest of friends, are they?
No. It's because the fact that I have no soul, James.
It's true. You're a soulless ginger, so it does make perfect sense. I mean, I'm quite impressed that being out in the sun, you don't just burst into flames like a vampire.
Well, I used to say that actually, because when I used to go to Download Festival, it used to be really funny. I mean, for myself, obviously, I'd burn straight away. As soon as the light hits me, basically I go like a lobster. But what was really funny was seeing all of the real goth people sort of walking around with sunburns. And it was like, because they just, they put the war paint on, don't they? They put like the white paint on and stuff like that. And but walking around with them with a bit of colour, it did really tickle me. So
to be fair, goths definitely fear the sun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, speaking as a past goth, yes. 100%. In the summer, I just need a darkened cave. That's all I need. With Wi-Fi.
Where you can hang upside down.
Well, no, I can sit normal. I don't have to be. I'm not a bat. But, maybe an old bat at times, but,
I was just saying a bat. That's what you want us to think, that you're not a vampire bat.
No. I'm not a vampire. I don't eat blood or drink blood or whatever.
She does.
I don't. I'm just soulless because I'm ginger. God. What else have I been up to? Well, I mean, I could lead into my Codswallops because some of the stories that I have do sort of involve Codswallop.
Well, to be fair, my getting COVID is sort of my Codswallop.
Yeah?
Though when the weather was nice, I did at least get to sit outside. They say you should take vitamin D and things. So I've just been loading myself with every kind of vitamin I could get delivered by Amazon. Unlike you, I actually believe I get some kind of colour rather than just, flash fried red.
No, my tan is rich tea biscuit. I told you this.
Rich tea biscuit's a bit dark for you, isn't it?
No.
Is that the good day?
No, that is about the colour that I go, to be fair.
Wow.
But rich tea biscuit is like, for anybody who doesn't know, it's like the palest beige colour, isn't it? So
it is rather.
Yeah. So I'll try and put a picture up of one on when I'm doing the advertising and things.
It's so pale they won't be able to see it clearly.
No, exactly.
In fact, to be fair, if we put you up, you could just put a light bulb up and it'd have the same effect. A turned on like full watt light bulb.
Well, yes, that could happen as well. That absolutely could happen. But there's also the different shade of white that I have with my legs as well, because quite often in the summer, so obviously the top half of me is exposed a bit more, obviously.
That's true.
I wear vest tops and stuff like that. I don't walk around naked. But, yes, I just said that about myself. But then my legs never catch the sun. Even if I sit out in it, it'll be the top half. My legs never, it just bounces off, basically. So yeah, it looks like the top half of me is somebody else's body and the bottom half of me is another person. So it looks like two separate bodies.
It's like you've been glued from a strange accent by a magician.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So, This is how tough it is for us ginge. Nobody understands.
Help a ginge day.
Yeah. Maybe that will be the episode title.
It could be. Support a ginge.
Support a ginge. So I'll lead into sort of my Codswallop side of things, but it is
cool.
One of them is kind of like on the positive side, but then it turns frustrating. So I'll go with that one first.
Interesting.
So as I've been working from home, as you know, probably everybody knows this, when it was like the height of COVID and it was all lockdown and whatnot, which I know still COVID is a thing, I'm not saying that, but when it was all lockdown and stuff, there was an opportunity to claim tax back for working from home. So I was, I think my mum was watching something like Martin Lewis or something like that. And I think he was talking about the pensions and things like that to actually, check what kind of pensions you got, blah, blah, blah. Which then reminded me, I thought to myself, well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, because I'm still working from home, if I can sort of claim back any tax because of the fact that I'm working from home. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so I did that, and it turned out that they owed me my own money, of course, but they owed me £61. which I was like, yay, £61. It's always nice to, get money off them, isn't it? Because quite often they're asking for money back from you.
This is true.
Yeah. So that's good. So they sent out a cheque and I was like, oh, well, they could have done like a bank transfer. It would have been so much easier. But anyway.
Hang on. Can I just point out, you get something good and you still complain. That's definitely Gem Hulk. Keep going, Gemma.
Well, that's what I said. So it is a positive thing, and I note it as a positive thing, but it is frustrating. So they sent it, they could have done it as a bank transfer. It's not like it's £1 million,
That's true.
Yeah. So, and also everybody does online banking now, even mum.
Well, no, I don't, but go on.
Okay.
Actually, I'll tell a lie, I do, but I know people who don't, so.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say as well, even my mum does online banking, but, but anyway, for the majority of people, they do online banking.
Yes.
So anyway, so I got this check and I was like, oh, brilliant. I was still really happy. And I was thinking I might actually frame it, kind of thing. Although obviously I don't want to because I actually want the money. So this is where the fun starts, James.
Okie dokie.
Obviously I work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Bit tricky to sort of get into town to, cash the check. So it's probably been a week. The check arrived and then it was about a week later that I finally got around to sorting it out and stuff. Mm-hmm. Constantly in my mind going, right, I have to get this sorted. I had a look on my phone and it said that with my banking app, I could actually take a photo of the check and it would actually, I would be able to sort of do the transfer through the app, which I was like, oh, that's amazing, And so, of course, I'm there trying to take a photo of this check. So, salty tadpoles, our recording just got cut short. So, if this next sentence doesn't quite follow on to from where I was before, blame Clean Feed, really? No, don't blame them because they're really
Treat
good.
it as an example of theatre of the mind.
Yes, exactly. But you know how I like to paint a picture? It's, So I think where I got up to was the fact that on the phone, on the app, I could actually do a check. So I'm there with my phone trying to take a photo of it. Not not an actual photo, but, like taking it so that I can scan it in so that it, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it keeps saying, like, you need to move left with your camera. You need to move right with your camera. And it's like, oh, for God's sake, move down, move up, move this, move that. Because it needs to be square in the box, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so, right, okay. So I finally did it. And I was like, brilliant. Yay, done it. You have to do the back of the check as well, which is like completely blank. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's got to be done. Yeah. So so it was all done. Woo! And then I clicked to get it to to work for itself, and then of course there was like a message that popped up to say, unfortunately, this did not work. You need to contact your local bank to sort this out. And I was like, oh, man.
And why am I not surprised?
Yeah, exactly. I really wasn't either. I was a little bit disappointed, but of course, because it took me so long to take this photo, or whatever. I mean, so yeah, on Monday or Tuesday this week, I think, well, I can't even remember what day it is today. I think it's Wednesday today. But Monday or Tuesday this week, I popped into town in my lunch break.
Oh, good.
With the purpose to go to the bank. So I went in there, and of course, most banks, I think anyway, especially I'm with Lloyd's anyway. So they've got like a little check-in, so you can actually just cash your checks with the machine.
Yeah, through the ATM thing, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Or cash point, as we call them in the UK.
Country dude.
You're not, you're just American.
Y'all.
Y'all. So I went over to that, put my card in, and it came up saying that my card couldn't use the service or something. For God's sake.
What? I don't understand that.
No, I know.
I really don't understand that.
No, unless it's the case that like my card is getting a little bit on the old side because it's soon to be sort of sent out a new one, for replacing sort of thing. So it might be that. So I was like, right, I've got to do this today. It's a right pain in the ass, but I've got to do it. And obviously, I'm on my lunch break, so I've got an hour. I've got an hour to, well, not even an hour. I've got like 45 minutes complete maximum, because obviously I've got to get back and forth to home and, to actually get back to work and stuff. So then I go over to the cashier, and there's just one cashier as usual. And there's a lady and a small child in front of me. Of course, it's screaming and wailing and whatnot. But the lady that's at the cash point is with this other lady who's getting like euros or whatever. So she's converting her money into euros, blah, blah, blah. It's taking forever. And I'm stood there and I'm like...
That's never simple.
No. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to wait, kind of thing. I think to myself, well, right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop back to the cash point and see if, maybe the card just didn't work. So I thought, right, maybe it was just like a blip or whatever. So I popped back to the cash point and I think, right, I'm going to try it again, blah, blah, blah. And it still didn't work. So I was like, oh, okay. So I headed back over and there was another 2 people waiting. And I was like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. I can see, I've been there.
Yeah. So now instead of there being the lady at the counter who was still there, the mum with the child, and now 2 other people. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So anyway, it happened to be that this woman who worked in the bank, she came over to speak to the lady that was like cashing the euros or whatever, the actual customer. Yeah. And I said, oh, sorry, could I just ask? I need to just cash this cheque, but the machine's saying that my card's not working. And she goes, oh, well, at that point, she goes, oh, well, actually, in that case, you're going to have to wait, in the queue kind of thing. I was like, oh, okay, if I have to, I have to. Mm-hmm. So, I'm trying to be as positive as possible, but I am also thinking, I've got to get back. It's panic. And then she dashes out. Basically, she went into like the behind the door kind of, where the staff room is basically. And she'd gone there and then she came sort of dashing out and she goes, oh, I've just thought of something. We don't need to actually put your card in. We can do it a different way. So basically, I managed to get it sorted and it was really easy and I know how to do it now. So, if we have this problem again, I was really thankful for her, to her though, because I was like, oh my God, thank you. So, because I was getting a bit panicked because it's my lunch break and I've only got like 10 minutes left, and I've got to get home. But yeah, so basically it was, you can actually just put your sort code in, an account number in, and then, push the sort of checks in and it all works that way. So it was quite relieving when she came dashing out. She goes, oh, I was just about to have lunch and then I thought, that's what we can do. So I was like, yay.
Cool. It is nice when things do, come together like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think people could probably tell my face that I was getting a bit stressed. So I wasn't at the point of Gem Hulk, but I was definitely a bit on the stress side.
So you were getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the difficulty a lot of the time now you go into, I was telling somebody about this, in fact, only today, the problem that you're going into a lot of, you want to open an account, which, is in the interest of both you and the institution you've gone into. But you have to book an appointment every single time for it, which I can dig, I can understand that. But when you go in and there's nobody there, there's nobody but the staff, that's when it gets galling. And you're like, but you have no one here, there's nothing happening. Nope, got to book in.
Yeah, that's frustrating. That's really annoying. Or when you've booked in and you turn up for your appointment and then they turn around to you and say, such and such is off sick today. It's like, why couldn't you call me?
You would wonder why they hadn't called you. But yeah, it's just madness for the majority of places you go. Well, pretty much all of them, not the majority. Pretty much all the places you go into. In the past, you used to be able to go in and generally kind of open things pretty easily. And now it's always just you've got to book it. Or they ask you the question, do you have the app? And I feel like going, well, if I had the app, I wouldn't be here, would I?
Exactly. Exactly. No, sometimes people are a little bit stupid. And they're also, I think also being in customer service myself, so like looking at it from that point of view, I think you also do get into roboticness mode. So it's like you kind of ask the same questions all the time, and then it's like actually that person's already answered that question, but you still ask the question, you know.
I mean, it's never the fault of the people on the ground who are doing the job. It's not their, you know, the companies have made the decision to do this as their policy, but it doesn't breed goodwill. No,
definitely not. But even if it's, you know, it's like my mum went into town to go to her bank. Her bank's a different one to mine. And the entire branch had closed down. She was like, "What?"
That does happen.
Yeah. She's like, "Shit, what am I going to do now then?" So luckily she is actually online, you know, got the online sort of app and stuff like that, you know, able to do that kind of thing. But, you know, it's like if she actually wants to go in and speak to somebody now, I don't even know where the closest one is. It might be in Dorchester, it might be wherever. I don't know, but
where the problem happens, you're right, but where the problem happens, a lot of these things is that it's all well and good to close the branch, but what do you do? And they're going like, you know, you can go to a drop-in centre or you can go to a post office. What if you had to do something very specific, like pay in, say, a foreign currency, or do something that you can only do in a bank? 'Cause for the drop-in places, they can't do anything with money.
No.
Which makes me wonder what the point of the drop-in places is. If all they can do is some electronic stuff, I mean, it'll help the people who can't do electronic stuff, but they've still got to have the app, they've got to have it on the phone, they've got to then be able to go in and do things. And I feel sorry for the people having to run these drop-ins because they're just going to get negative comments off people and they can do nothing about it.
Yeah, and the other side of it is as well that, I mean, obviously in my mum's case now she's lucky because she's got Graham, but she's a pensioner she's an able-bodied pensioner, but she's still a pensioner, and she doesn't drive. So it's like, well, even if the closest one was Dorchester, which is a 20-minute drive away, that would mean that she would have to get on to at least 2 buses to get to Dorchester, you know, which is actually, you know, probably making it about a 40-minute trip, you know, with waiting for buses and stuff like that. So, you know, it's kind of inconvenient from that point of view as well, isn't it? So, and
then she'd turn up and find out the branch was shut.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Or completely closed.
Yeah. Or they're closed for lunch or whatever. It's like, no.
Oh, I meant completely closed as in gone, finished, out, you know.
Oh, yes.
Finito.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, yeah. So, I think, well, Nationwide seems to be fine. So, we'll keep going with them.
Now you've cursed them, but go on, sorry.
Well, fingers crossed I haven't. But yeah. But my only other Codswallop was it was myself for releasing our previous episode on the wrong day.
It happens.
I know. I'm pretty certain I had like a temperature at that point, and I had a bit of a headache myself, but I tested negative for COVID, so I don't know what it was, but I was feeling a bit rotten, and I accidentally clicked the button to release the episode, and instead of scheduling it as I normally would do, and I was like, oh no, so I cancelled it, and I scheduled it for when it was supposed to come out, but I didn't realise that it actually released. It wasn't until...
It happened.
Yeah, it wasn't until James Hickson was like, why is there an episode today? And also he said that he is apparently not trying to bump us off, but I don't know. I'm still on the fence.
I'm not sure I believe it.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence, definitely. So he said that, and, you know, and I was like, hold on, how have you heard that? So alarm bells started ringing. So if anyone did hear that episode that was released on a Wednesday instead of a Sunday, could you go back and listen to it again if possible? Because we haven't actually got your listen, and it's driving me nuts because although I did mark down that 46 people had listened by the time that I actually had accidentally released it. I can't count them in the figures because they don't count. So if you 46 people could go back and listen again, that'd be amazing. Thanks. And that's it.
Well, these things happen when you get older, Jim. You know,
I know.
Mind starts to wander.
I mean, you should know. So, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, as long as you're not found wandering around in your slippers outside, you'll be okay.
Well, it's all right if it's in my own garden, though, right?
Are you omitting something there?
Well, no, sometimes I go out in my slippers in the garden, but, you know.
We'll have you committed by the end of the week.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Well, James, I've had my little rants. You've had your rants. We've had a wonderful conversation about banking and gingerness. What I was going to say was, should we wrap this up with a couple of stories of the week? Because I felt quite excited having stories of the week last week. So, what do you think?
I think we should run with it.
Okay. Because you're at this moment in time having a bit of a cough, do you want to go first?
I can cough even more after that on mute. So,
yeah.
So we can go with my weird story of the week. So this was perfect when I saw this because obviously I've been ill.
Yeah.
And I hope this never happens to me or anyone else. So a man sneezed so hard his colon fell out of his body while having breakfast. I shouldn't laugh.
No,
but I will.
Because I've actually read this story. So although it is funny, it is definitely funny.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying, and it's also a little bit sad towards the end as well. But it's but initially it is a funny story. So please continue.
The worst thing is I can see how it could happen. But so a man coughed and sneezed at the same time. I've been close to doing that of late, causing his colon to fall out of his body as he sat having breakfast at a US diner. The 63-year-old who was with his wife at the Florida restaurant felt a wet sensation followed by a sharp pain. Ooh. He lifted up his shirt and spotted several inches of his colon poking out of a surgical wound. This is more how it happened, obviously.
Yeah.
But the man had recently had abdominal surgery, but doctors told him the incisions had healed well. An ambulance was called, and on arrival, paramedics observed a 3-inch opening with large amounts. So this is written really badly. Large amounts of bowel protruding through. Fortunately, there was minimal blood loss and no damage to the exposed organ. He was taken to hospital, and surgeons managed to put his bowel back into his abdomen. After 6 days in hospital, he was able to return home and reportedly recovered without complications. The case featured in the American Journal of Medical Case Reports. Dehiscence, which is when a surgical wound reopens, is thought to happen in 3 in 100 people who have undergone abdominal surgery and pelvic surgeries. It's slightly more common in elderly patients. For 4 in 10 patients, it can be fatal due to excessive blood loss and injury to the organs that have been exposed. Coughing is a common reason for it happening, the American Journal report said. He had previously battled prostate cancer, and the recent surgery was to correct issues caused by early surgeries, among them the removal of his bladder. On the morning his bowels fell out, doctors removed his stitches.
Sorry.
Right, yeah.
I'm so sorry for laughing, but it's the morning that his bowels fell out.
She's harsh.
No.
She's harsh, isn't she?
I said...
She's so harsh. Reveling in their misfortune.
It was just the sentence. It was like, just literally finished saying that he'd had bladder cancer, or colon cancer, or whichever one it was. And then it was like, the morning that his bowels fell out. It's funny. I'm sorry. Continue.
She's awful, isn't she, Salty Tadpole? Just try and ignore the cruelty and the laughter against this poor unfortunate man.
Poor unfortunate soul. Yes.
So he and his wife then decided to go to a diner and celebrate his clean bill of health with a breakfast. To make sure the wound didn't reopen, surgeons performed figure-of-8 stitches, one of the most advanced and strongest types of closure.
Clearly not.
Plus internal and external stitching. Well, this is the new one.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
This isn't the old thing. Come on, Gemma, pay attention. I know you're still reveling in this man's misfortune, so you're giddy in the head.
No, I think it's the fact that they did this, and then he's in the diner. He's in the diner at this point, and then he sneezes and coughs, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, but this is what they did to stop it happening again.
Oh, okay. Continue then. I apologise.
You see this Tepos just doesn't listen. So I'll repeat myself. Okay. To make sure the wound didn't reopen, surgeons performed figure-of-8 stitches, one of the most advanced and strongest types of closures, plus internal and external stitching and stitches that penetrate multiple layers of the abdominal wall. And being an article from the Metro, that's it. That's how well written it is. It just ends. But frankly, they might as well just superglue the guy shut. But
yep.
God, that's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, imagine looking down and your intestines are hanging out.
Yeah. No, that's definitely not a nice thing at all. It's also like, the fact that they said like there was a wet sensation or whatever. It's like, ew.
I mean, it was, yeah. You've gone through all that surgery, think, yeah, I'm getting better. And,
yeah.
Oof, scary. But to be fair, sneezing, coughing, you give yourself hernias, the whole kit and caboodle, because you're putting your body under pressure.
No, absolutely. I agree with that. I do feel sympathy for this guy. I know I giggled a bit there, but I do feel sympathy for this person, because it's like, even when you're like, it's like if you're desperate for a wee or whatever and you sneeze, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to wee myself, so it's, I can very much sympathise that I've been in situations like that. So just make sure you go for a pee before you sneeze.
Very true.
Well, I've also got a story. It is kind of colon related. And of course, I've picked a poo story. I think I may have a problem.
Yep, you've got coprophilia.
Yes. Well, that is a new term that I found out today because of James. So maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but who knows? So
I really hope you haven't. But go on.
I really hope I haven't as well, to be honest. So the headline reads, world's most prolific fossilized poo collector is now showing it off in a museum. And he's got a photo of him smiling with a dinosaur on a toilet. And, it's looks like a lot of fun. So here we go. A man who has the largest collection of fossilized poo in the world.
Why?
It's like, seriously, though, first of all, why exactly? Why would you want to do that? But anyway, has opened up a museum dedicated to show it off. George, who is the poo collector, is so massive he holds a Guinness World Record for it. The museum in Williams, Arizona, so my surname here, people, is
yeah, she wants to link herself to a shit museum.
I know. Well, the museum is appropriately called Poozum, James.
I'm still sticking with why.
Yeah, I know. And George says he was motivated to open it by the glaring absence of fossilized poop presentation in museums. Although there is that one in York, isn't there, James, that I told you about before?
Which I shall never, ever visit.
I know. Well, it's not completely about poo, but there is one section that is.
Is it the York Viking Museum, I think, isn't it? Which
Yeah,
I've been to that when I was a child. That was enough.
Yes, I think so. I've not actually visited myself. I've never been to York, so, but, one day, just to go to that museum, I'm sure I will. Might pop in and say hello to you on the way back.
If you want, as long as you don't bring any shit with you.
No, James, look what I stole. I turn up with this massive tree trunk of a shit.
I won't put it past you, that's a scary thing.
He spent 14 years working at a healthcare company before taking a very different path and embracing his love for poo. There's got to be somebody, hasn't there, for everybody?
Oh my God.
If anyone's wondering why there's a delay with James, he has been muting himself a couple of times because he is so disgusted by the story, it's making him cough probably.
Yeah, it's a mixture of having to cough a lot and also just sheer what the...
Poozum was previously a virtual resource centre since it was founded in 2014, but now people can get up and personal with the poo since it was opened last month. Woohoo! If anyone wants to go to Arizona, here's the place to go. So George, he was 45, saw, fossilized poo. It's like coprolite, I think it is coprolite maybe, but anyway, it's a fossilized poo. For the first time when he was aged 18, during a visit to a rock and fossil shop in Utah, and has not looked back since. Fast forward a few decades, he now owns the biggest and largest poo from a carnivore. A specimen called Barnum, which measures 2 feet 2 inches long. He was interviewed by the Guinness World Records. Instantly, I found it both hilarious and fascinating. Do you know what the thing is that I keep seeing pictures of him. He actually is a good-looking man, but I'm kind of a little bit swayed. I'm not sure if I can, get on board.
It's just of all the things you could. I mean, the two things are: why would you wish to open a museum to this effect?
Yeah.
And secondly, why would you want to go to the museum?
Why?
It's
Although
there is that element of you thinks, how truly weird.
Yeah.
Could this be?
Yeah,
but I'm still not entirely sold on the idea of ever stepping foot in there.
Yeah, and I think also like with American museums and stuff like that, they do have a lot of like the curiosity factor, haven't they? It's like, they've got like Robert the Doll.
Oh yeah, the haunted doll thing. Yeah,
yeah, and all sort of different things like that. So they have got a lot of different places. So
I mean, I have to be honest, the shit museum. It's the sort of place I could imagine Gittim running.
Yes, yeah.
I think I honestly could imagine him working in there. Because, I mean, he's got that kind of mad hobo beard and missing teeth look. So, yeah. I could see him in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No offence, Gittim, if you're listening, but I think we found your next calling.
And it's saying here as well, people will find it either fascinating or people would react with the yuck face or laughter when they first hear about the Poozum. I like to put emphasis on poo. However, after witnessing the collection, the reactions often shift to shock at the diverse and intriguing nature of the poos, or what they like to say, Codswallop. Dinosaur Codswallop. Given that most people have little to no experience, it's enjoyable to introduce them to this fascinating world and share the wonders they hold.
Yeah, I think I'll pass. Very nice offer of him, but I think I'll pass.
He's got 8,000 pieces. Jesus Christ.
He needs a new hobby.
He does. He does.
Maybe he should ditch that. As I said, Gittim could run it, and he finds something slightly less alarming.
Yeah, and do you know what? Even I think that Gittim is too good for this place as well. So
I know, but to be fair, Gittim could bring horse shit, so he'd be in his element there.
Well, I'd also just like to emphasise something as well, that going forward, George has said, instead of focusing on the quantity of the poos in my collection, because they keep using the proper words, that's why I keep saying poos, I now concentrate on finding the most incredible pieces in the world. I would like to emphasise that our museum is open to everyone, every day, free of charge. We believe that financial constraints should never hinder someone from experiencing the wonder within our exhibits. So at least you can go and visit it for free.
Yeah, I think I know why he's doing it for free, because no sane person would pay to go into that place.
And also, just pardon the pun, but it's literal free shit.
Yeah. His business model is going down the toilet.
Yes.
God's sake. I despair of society and humanity at the best of times. This is now taking it down another notch. God almighty.
I was going to say, I'm so glad that I chose this story over the second one that I was going to read. The other one could stay for another day. So it was also quite good, but this one was definitely the story of the week.
I can't work out. This one has had the effect of making me feel depressed about how messed up things are, but also making me angry about how messed up things are.
Yeah, well, you know.
Bit of both, I think. I've got a foot in both worlds.
Well, on that note, James, I think we've been talking enough fossilised Codswallop this week. You see what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
I have been Gemma.
I think I'm still stunned. I've been James.
You have been James. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.